Hello everybody and welcome. It is the NBL1 Show prelim week. After a weekend of hoops that throw one massive upset now means that our Sunday game this weekend is going to be a big one. Welcome to you. Get involved anytime you like at NBL1 on all the socials. Huge panel as always. I'm joined by Bec Cole, who is officially in NBL1 duties on holidays after a pretty rough weekend elimination loss. Hello Bec, how are you doing?
Good, glad to be back.
We'll get to that very shortly. And the CEO of Basketball Victoria, Nick Honey, who joins us in the studio for the first time. We've been trying to get you. I know how busy you've been, but you've jumped in on finals time, mate. Welcome.
Good on you, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, we might start with you, Nick. Firstly, it's been an outstanding year for NBL1. We talk from an on-court perspective each and every week. Bec and I and Liam Santa Maria, Mark Worthington, everyone who's been involved. But from an administration point of view, how's it been?
Look, we couldn't be happier with the results after what has been a lot of hard work, Cam. We had this thrown on us at the last minute. We were looking at running, a state league, if you like, and then when Siebel was pulled, we sort of had to scramble pretty quickly and readjust. And with the clock ticking, we formed the partnership with the NBL. And I think the rest is history from there. It's been fantastic. When
we have the type of talent we do on court in both the men's and women's side of it, to get excited and see the great games isn't a great surprise, although it's probably gone to a couple of levels that I don't think even us as basketball fans thought it would go. But first year, as you touched on, it was a little bit late together, the NBL and the partnership, which we'll get to in a moment. Have you been surprised how, I'm sure it hasn't been all smooth sailing, but how seamlessly it seems to have been able to grow and grow and grow as the weeks have progressed?
Yeah, look, I have been surprised because the product's been outstanding and the front of house stuff has been brilliant. I mean, it's fair to say it is the swan. There's been a lot of churning underneath the water, but it's nice, smooth sailing on the top. A lot of hard work goes into these things, and look, we've got to thank all the licensees, all the clubs that joined, and their willingness to participate and get amongst it, because they've worked really hard as well to produce these results.
Obviously, the NBL, and that continues to go to a bigger and better almost each and every year. So, in that situation, to align yourself and have the NBL working in partnership, how much, not easier, because yet again, I don't want to diminish how much hard work gets done, but how much is it to link with the brand, with them continuing to do good things, and how much Basketball Victoria does the work as well?
Look, without question, that was one of the key I guess, motivators for us joining the partnership, was to leverage off the NBL brand, and we very much wanted to create, this defined, clear pathway that the kids could, really strive for and really, feel like they were achieving, the next step in their journey. And by associating with the NBL brand, that's ticked that off, I think, to a large extent.
I've got to say, this happens each and every week. I always try and get people who are coming into the show. Now, Bec somehow hasn't made it into the background. I'm not sure if that's a slight dig at the fact that year's over, but I couldn't find a photo of you either, Nick, so I do apologise. We're going to go for players who are going to be on court this weekend, but so don't hold that against us as well.
Thanks, yeah.
All right. Let's talk about some of the games. Huge weekend. We'll start with you, Bec, because you're here. What happened?
Yeah, we just weren't the better team on the day. We didn't get it done. It was, a close game for the first half, and then the second half, Knox were able just to, run away with it. Their shooting percentage would have been very, very high. They did a great job, good team offence, and they just sort of beat us on the day. So it was a bummer for the Rangers, but such a great team that we have. The players dealing with everyone coming in and out, and Whitey and the coaching staff. It was just a great season. I really loved it. The bond we had within the girls was great between the vets and the young kids coming up. So it was a really good mixture and a good vibe. So fortunately, we couldn't get it done, but I'm really excited to see how the teams go coming up these next 2 weekends.
Just on that, exactly what Bec said, that has been echoed by every single, and I'm talking to high-profile NBL, WNBL players who go back and play with juniors at associations, which you oversee on a weekly, almost daily basis. What does it make you feel when you hear those words from Bec and so many of these other people who are continuing loving playing in the league?
Oh, look, Cam, we're delighted with that. The reports have come back that people are enjoying the basketball, that they're really, excited by participating week in, week out. To have the vets with the kids is exactly what we're talking about, is that pathway piece where the kids can, be around these professionals and learn what it takes to be a pro. And so to be able to offer that to all those levels of players has been brilliant.
All right, so this time last week on this particular show, we had Sarah Booth from Kilsyth with us. I can't remember if it was Bec or myself who predicted there'd be an upset on Friday night when Kilsyth and Bendigo met each other, but you did. I will put your hand up. Yeah. You called it. You thought Kilsyth might go up there and get the win, and it's an upset based on the fact that Bendigo have had such a good year. What did you make of the fact they were able to go, and that third quarter was a big big one for Kilsyth.
Yeah, I just think, like Booth said when she was here, and you can obviously tell by the ladder, at this end point of the regular season, Kilsyth had sort of found their steps. Booth herself was finding her game and her feet, and once she gets going, she's a big girl. You can't move her out of the key. So if you get her going along with Loz, who's obviously having a great season, and the other surrounding players, they'll be hard to stop. And I think I read a quote by Kelly saying, this loss has really, rammed us. And I think that happens when you have a season where you don't lose. There's always one game that you do lose. And I think Kilsyth were the team to beat them. So I'm really excited about that. And I think Kilsyth, they could definitely go all the way.
And now it leads us into that weird situation in sport, and that's the beauty of sport, where we now have the 1 and 2 seeds. The two most dominant teams win-loss record over the year in Bendigo and Geelong, meeting not in a grand final, which myself, and I think some other people might have thought was going to be the case, but on a Sunday. So you can imagine, prelim in all sports and basketball in particular, the intensity goes through the roof. But Sunday at Geelong, 1 o'clock at the arena is going to be a big one as well. Are you heading down, Nick?
No, I won't be able to get down.
Oh, okay, should have asked it off there.
That's all right. I'll be watching the live stream.
Of course you will be at NBL1 to check it on YouTube as well. But what do you make of it then? You talk about that exact point and what has been coming out of the Bendigo camp. Do you expect them to go on the road? And they beat Geelong a couple of weeks ago with Geelong missing some players as well. What do you expect to happen on Sunday?
If I was in one of those teams, I would think this is a grand final.
Yeah.
So that's how those two teams will be thinking right now. What I will love to see is that it'll almost be a team of vets, in the fact Gabe, Kelly, Madge, Levy, versus, I want to say, the younger elite kids. They're all playing for Australia or the national teams, but they're a bit younger. So I really love, they play, to me, a different style of games. So honestly, again, like finals, whoever plays better on the day is going to win. But Bendigo, they've just lost, so they're coming raring to go to prove everyone that we shouldn't have lost that game against Kilsyth.
And in sport and in basketball, it's easier to be able to make adjustments after a loss. Exactly. And Bendigo did that, of course, and Knox were fairly valiant considering the short turnaround for both Knox and Nunawading coming into Sunday, and Ringwood as well, who probably played their worst game of the year on Sunday against a Nunawading team that had a particularly good first half. But that'll be the interesting point of view. A team in Geelong who have played really well, had some girls away, and now, of course, leading into a Bendigo team that is flying. Who are you predicting?
Oh, look, I think Bendigo's got something to prove, Cam. I think Bec's right. I think they weren't happy with that Friday game at all, and they've come back and taught Knox a lesson, and I think they're really keen to get to the grand final. Ideally, they'd like to match Kilsyth again.
That's probably true to get the
I'm not sure if they will, but I think they'd like to.
So on the women's side of it as well, we've got an interesting mix as well. And from an administrating point of view and Basketball Victoria, we've got Kilsyth and Nunawading, two unbelievably strong metropolitan associations, and then we've got two unbelievably strong regional centres in Geelong and Bendigo. Is it almost you're going to see a Vic Country v Vic Metro grand final either way it plays. Does that work for you, do you
That
think?
works for me because we love all our children and we're happy when any of them succeed, Cam. So, that's a perfect scenario for me. I'd love a Metro Country grand final. That'd be brilliant.
All right, into the men's side of it as well. Geelong and Nunawading on Saturday night. And Geelong, who live and died by the 3-ball. And for a lot of it, live. They had a double-digit lead a lot of that first half, but Nunawading, and we had David Biwar in here a couple of weeks ago, spoke so much about that veteran team and the fact they were sort of keep wearing them down. Simon Conn, Walker, Shane McDonald, one of the premier point guards in the league. And in the end, they were able to run over a Geelong team in the last couple of minutes. And now they have a pretty big ask. They've got to go to Ballarat against, you would think, bitter title favourites. This is going to be a good one on Saturday night, Bec.
I'm really excited about it. I think awesome confidence boost for them. But like you said, they're vets. I think I picked them that they were going to get it done.
Yes.
But going into Ballarat, their arena is full of their fans. It's such a great environment to be playing in. Such a good atmosphere. Like you said, that's going to be a big ask. They finished the regular season on top, and they're very athletic, very young, and Nunawading, they play a bit more of an old school game, and like Biwa said, they have those one-on-one skills. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game.
It will be. Ballarat only go really 6 deep, 7 maybe at an absolute stretch when Dengakuth gets a little bit of court time, bench time in probably that early third quarter. But with Nunawading, same thing happened against Frankston a couple of weeks ago. Frankston was jam-packed, the joint was going nuts, they got off to a really good start. Nunawading gave themselves a chance. They don't panic. They've all been around for a long time. We got Australian representatives in the 3x3 world as well, which probably helps them a little bit. That's what it's going to be on Saturday night. The Minor Dome is going to be rocking as it was a couple of weeks ago, but Nunawading are one of those teams. I think it was Liam Santamaria that dubbed them the San Antonio Spurs of the NBL1. They don't really get phased. They've all been there before in these big games. And that's what will happen on Saturday night. If Ballarat get, which I expect, the emotion, jam-packed, there's a Big V Youth League Grand Final before it, so you know that there's going to be a lot of emotion.
This might be their big send-off game too. We went down for the opening of their new stadium, which they're going to move to next year.
Was there a push to have one of these finals games in the new stadium?
Look,
and the players may have relented a little bit. Is there anything in that?
I think there was a couple of the people that would have preferred that, but we're not sure if we're going to get there. I think the Minor Dome's the right place.
I'll tell you the people who wanted it in the new stadium, the administrators, and the players who didn't, or the people who didn't were the players.
We're always in sync, the players and the administrators, Cam, you know that.
100%. We all have a bit of OCD when it comes to stuff like that, so we'd be like, don't move us, don't move us at all.
So I think that's going to be a ripping contest. And then this Bendigo team, talking regional, they were really good against Melbourne the week before. They wore them down behind Ray Turner. And Ray Turner, I think, he definitely had 25 points. I think it was 15 rebounds at half-time against Kilsyth on Sunday when they built that lead that they essentially held. Isaac Turner was pretty good in the second half with 33. But this Bendigo team's on a little bit of a roll. And Beck, that can work for you because you're coming into a prelim, 2 good wins, but it's a bit of a different ask. No Dane Pinot against Melbourne, so Ray Turner had his way. No Smith Milner for Kilsyth. He's going to then bump straight into the Majooks of the world, which is going to make it a little bit interesting for him.
It will be. I think I still pick Frankston to win this. I just think they're deep and they've just had a great season and they just know how to play the game really well. But I said last week, Bendigo, they found their feet and I think they weren't playing as good as what they could. They're showing form and in finals, and when you know you're a bit of an underdog against Frankston, you honestly go out there with nothing to lose and you give it your all. So it'll be interesting, but I do think Frankston will come away with it. And like you said, now he's matching up on some hard talent, so that will always affect you.
Now, I do say that as well. I'm 99% certain that Majook is playing. I know he's in Perth, of course, as a Wildcat and signed a month or so ago. So he's in there. I think training might be about to start if it hasn't already, but I am fully expecting Majook to be in uniform for Frankston on Saturday night. I haven't heard otherwise. All right. Championship weekend, okay? So August 17, if you haven't got your tickets yet, tickettech.com.au. It's going to be a wonderful night of hoops and a wonderful weekend of hoops because then the next day is the awards ceremony at Bond Nightclub, which is, assume, a place that you're well familiar with, Nick.
Yes, I've got my my life membership there.
Okay, good. Sweet. It is going to be a wonderful weekend of celebrating what has been a great year, isn't it?
It is, and it's appropriate that we have a big celebration because, as I said before, a lot of people have worked really hard to produce this season, and it's something worthy of celebration. And I think having the grand final followed by the award ceremony will be just perfect to cap it off.
All right, well, to cap it off, at NBL1 on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, make sure you keep abreast of everything that's happening, plus NBL1 on YouTube as well. Let's get some predictions. Who are we going to play in the grand final on the men's side of it?
I think it's going to be Ballarat versus Frankston.
And the women's?
As I said, I'd love to see the Bendigo Kilsyth.
How about you? What do you got for us, Beck?
Oh, I'm just still, because I'm a young blood from Nunawading, I want Nunawading Frankston. And then for the women, I find this to pick so hard. But I would love also a Kilsyth Bendigo to see who can get it done when it's the big time.
All right. I actually think Ballarat and Frankston, I still think Frankston will win the whole thing, and Brendan Joyce, who gave me a little bit of a razzle about that when I seen him a couple of weeks ago, I think they'll play in the grand final. I think Nunawading are finding momentum at the right time on the women's side of it. Kilsyth have been great in the second half of the year, and I say this with a fair bit of trepidation because the Kilsyth girls haven't been happy with some of the things that Liam Santamaria's been saying, but it's going to be a wonderful game. And I think I tipped Geelong in pre-season. They've got the home court advantage, so I'll go for them to knock off Bendigo. It's going to be a wonderful weekend of hoops as well. Mate, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it has been a wonderful year and one that's going to continue to build and get bigger and better, mate. So to yourself and your team of men and women at Basketball Victoria, great job and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it.
We'll have a beer at the awards night.
My word.
Excellent. I'm going to win NBL1 Personnel of the Year because I'm actually going to announce it just off the cuff. So you okay with that?
It's a done deal.
If I run it by you, that's fine.
No problem.
Beck, are you going to a game this weekend? What's on this weekend for you?
Yeah, I might get to a game or I may be having a well-earned rest before WNBL hits off. But I will definitely my eyes will be peeled to this game because I just think it's going to be very, very exciting. NBL1 on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a moment. Have a wonderful weekend. Good luck to all participants. Prelim weekend right around the corner. We'll see you next week in Grand Final week. Woo!